Hey, DNA Strand crew, TJ here from the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be going over our post-NFL draft running back and tight end buys. Should be a tasty episode. Join us, won't you?
Welcome to the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast, where we talk Dynasty Fantasy Football, fantasy rankings, and everything NFL. Join us and dominate your Dynasty League. It's in your DNA. And here's your host, TJ Blake.
Welcome back, DNA Strand crew. Yes, I'm the host of the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast, TJ Blake. You can find me on Twitter at TJBlakeDNA. And as always, we're joined by our show architect and co-host, the A-Train Andy Blake. You can find him on Twitter at FFATrainDNA. How you doing today, Ann?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. And next in the line of order, we got the co-host, the producer, Ty Blake. You can find him on Twitter at DynastyDNA. Ty, how you doing today, Ty?
Pretty good. How's it going?
We're doing good. And last but not least, it's Ty's favorite trade partner. It's Muscles Ryan Mail. You can find him on Twitter at DynastyDNA Mus. How you doing today, Mus?
Oh, not too bad. How's everybody doing?
We're doing good. Now, how do them trades work out? I'm just curious between you and Ty.
Me slapping Mus silly.
Oh, not all the
He
time.
wins these championships. You do, Mus. You know you do.
Oh, all
it's
right.
okay to say it.
All right.
So he's saying you're a contributor.
He
I
is.
guess.
He is.
I guess.
Probably a backdoor deal going on.
Yeah. No comment.
He's got that pretty mouth.
Well, fellas, today we're going to hop in. We did our post-NFL draft wide receiver and quarterback buys last episode. We're going to finish it off. We're going to do our post-NFL draft running back and tight end buys now. A lot of good guys on this list. I mean, especially running backs. I mean, there's a lot of good options I think you can get for a decent price.
We're not even going to go over all of them.
No, we're not. And probably when we're done, we could touch base on a couple other ones, maybe to keep your eye on, you know, just because we can't fit them all in. But running back's such a juicy pool. But tight ends, too. I mean, there's some guys down there. So, I mean, we're all trying to get that positional advantage. I mean, it's kind of a shot in the dark. You can hope you can hit on it. Maybe one of these guys can have a good year, finish around that top 5, and give you a good positional advantage.
Yep.
But before we hop into any of this, couple things to mention. As always, got to bring up the website, www.dynastydna.net. Guys, I'm telling you right now, you got to go over there and check that out. There's so much good stuff over there, so much good content. Articles coming in constantly by the boatloads, and all the podcast episodes, all the YouTube videos. It's all over there. And, I mean, there's a lot of good guys posting what they think and what they like. And it's really good to, like, pick other people's brains, I think. You know, and it's a really good thing for the fantasy community over there. If you're really into fantasy like us, if you're fantasy a junkie, that DynastyDNA.net's a treasure trove of fantasy information. You got to check that out if you haven't yet. So go over there, check it out. And also we want to bring up our friends over at Peak One Sports Network. Ashton over there is doing a great job covering all things, all sports. I mean, there's a lot going on right now. The NBA playoffs are getting into full swing. NHL playoffs. I mean, we're getting down to the down and dirty here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're down to the Final Four in both leagues. So if you want to check out, if you're a sports junkie, all things sports all the time, go over and check out Peak One Sports. If you want to follow them on Twitter, follow them at Peak One Sports. But before we get into anything to do with these tight ends or running backs, you know we're going over here to the breaking news Mus.
All right. I got Tom Brady in talks to be a limited partner with the Vegas Raiders. I don't know what that all entails, but
He's got to get back in the game.
Yeah.
yeah. Jalen Hurts got his master's degree from the University of Oklahoma.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it just shows you, like, that's one thing I will say about, like, Jalen Hurts. It seems like he's, like, a really committed dude.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's really got a good head on his shoulders.
Yep. And Todd Bowles also got a degree. It didn't say what it is in, but
Defense 101.
yeah. Something like that. Broncos signed Ben DiNucci. Wasn't he the Cowboys backup?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Well, there you are, getting the Broncos news in again.
That's right.
They could convert him to running back.
Little
They
mate.
need one.
Oh, yeah.
They may need one.
Matt Ryan becoming CBS analyst.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
I think it's a good choice.
Yeah. James Washington signs with the Saints 1-year deal.
Yeah.
He's never been really nothing after. He never really was nothing. So
No.
I was gonna say that's one of your favorite players, James
Yeah.
Washington.
Another Oklahoma State bust.
Big
Yep.
12, baby.
Yep.
Peacock will stream a wild card playoff game.
Yeah, no comment.
Yeah, yeah. That's about it too.
I got Peacock, but I feel bad for the people that don't.
Yeah.
that sucks.
Same here.
Yeah, because there's so many hardworking people out there. All they want to do after a long week is watch a football game.
Yep.
Right.
And it is bullcrap.
Yep.
Barkley rejected a $14 million a year offer from the Giants.
Jeez.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was wondering what you were going to think about that.
I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to pay him more. I mean, maybe somebody.
Yeah, I guess they're saying he wants 16. He wants McCaffrey money.
Wants
It's
McCaffrey money.
I mean, that's not really far away though.
No.
It's not, but I mean, for a team like the Giants that are trying to win, a couple million goes a long way.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, man, like you see this every year. It don't matter what position it is, but these guys always got to like one up each other.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I got to be the highest paid.
Yep. Broncos expect Javonte to be ready by training camp.
Oh, there he is with the Denver
Yep,
news
yep,
again.
There it is again.
What is he playing second string, third string, water boy? What's he playing this year?
Who's going to be the starter?
Samaje P.
Oh, yeah.
How about Tony Jones?
Tony Jones got the second spot locked up.
Hey, you know that they're trying to pull the Raiders there in Denver. They're trying to get their people
right.
in there.
Yeah, that's true.
But to talk about that a little bit, I do think he's a big winner from the draft. But for them to say that still has me a little bit worried.
Yeah.
Like, he's ready or he's going to play. Like,
Not only that, I saw a stat, one of the fantasy MDs or whatever.
yeah, I
on there.
retweeted about that.
Was that the 26 running backs since
Yeah.
2020? Okay.
Yeah, and the two people that tore like he did,
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins and Carson Wentz, were not the same the next year.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
So,
Right.
I mean, it obviously we're hoping Dobbins and Carson Wentz just don't really think it's a leg. It's just a mental. Like,
Yeah.
It's just not that good now.
It's a brain problem.
Right.
He's short-circuited it somewhere else.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Even if he is ready, I'd
Yeah.
hamper expectations.
In redraft, at least.
And I
Yeah.
do think that that's important. Like me and you were talking about this the other day on the phone, and ACL injuries, people got to realize, like, it's just not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you got to give it time. It is frustrating. I mean, you look at what happened with Dobbins last year. Everyone said, oh, he's ready. He's ready. He's going to be ready to go. He's going to be ready to go. Then what happened? He come
Right.
back, didn't look real good, had a setback. I mean, all you can do is what you've seen. If you really like the player from before, just hold out and wait because it'll be worth it when he's 100% healthy again.
Yeah. Right here, I'll just read it real quick. It's Dr. Jesse Morse. You can follow him on Twitter. There have been 26 NFL running backs that tear their ACL since 2011. Only 2 running backs have exceeded expectations in their first season back from ACL surgery, Jamal Charles and Adrian Peterson. As far as we know, only 2 players have suffered similar injuries to Williams, the ACL, LCL, PLC. Carson Wentz and J.K. Dobbins both returned but struggled in their first year back. Temper your expectations for Williams in early 23.
Yeah.
So
And it is frustrating because, like, from a Denver usage, like, they didn't use him real well, like, the first couple seasons.
yeah,
And then now you have him coming back from this injury. So it is frustrating, but the best thing we could preach to you is don't undersell.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Michael Thomas expected to be good for training camp from that toe injury.
Whoa, training camp 2025, 2026?
Yeah. You might as well just cut that thing off.
Yeah,
I didn't know this. Isaiah Pacheco had surgery for a broken hand and torn labrum.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty tough to play through it.
It's a one tough son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he's expected to be, actually they said there's no timetable, so he might not be good for training camp. So.
Jerick McKinnon shares.
Yeah. Yeah, they did sign him. But that's all I got.
All right, Moss, appreciate you going over that as always. We're going to hop in here. We're going to be doing our tight end and running back post-NFL draft buys. We're going to go over here to the A train first. We always put the heat on to this side of the table. And we're going to start out coming hot out of the gate. We're going to go with his running back. We're going to go to the running back pool first with Ann. Ann, your first post-NFL draft running back buy. Who do you have?
it's going to be J.K. Dobbins, and a guy that we just kind of mentioned going through all that. He's 24 years old, only played in 8 games last year. 21 preseason, he suffered that ACL tear with all the other damage. So, it's a tough break for him. Dobbins had another knee surgery last year for cleanup, and he just didn't really look right after that. So, even after that, it was still a little bit scary. 4 weeks he was back. He still ran for 120-plus yards 2 times and 90-plus once. So,
Impressive.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty impressive, too. And also had over 100 all-purpose yards in that playoff game against Cincinnati. There's something interesting that I found it on Twitter today, just scrolling through. This was from Jeff Mueller on Twitter. He led the league in rushing weeks 13 to 17, 5th in rush yards after contact, only 2 tackles for loss, led the league with 13 rushes of 10-plus yards, and tied for the most 20-plus yard runs with 4 in that time frame.
Wow.
And all that he said 85% of health. I'm going to say possibly even lower. Like, he just did not look healthy.
No.
We seen it against Pittsburgh, and I think he still ran. That was one of his 120-yard weeks.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So that was something I thought was pretty impressive. That was good digging by him. And again, so we're just going to see if he's 100% right. But what makes me feel good about that, guys, is they didn't bring in anybody.
Right.
It's the same people, Gus Edwards and the little man.
Justice Hill.
Yeah, Justice Hill.
I know that because he's rotting away on one of my taxi squads.
Yes, I mean, for them not to bring in anybody in the run game, I mean, I think that speaks a lot for Dobbins. Also, I mean, we're going to see in different offenses. I said before, I thought Roman was probably a bad fire. It actually looks kind of good now.
Yeah.
Bringing in a guy like Munchkin.
I was waiting for it.
So in this Todd Monken offense, he came out and he said he wants to throw a ball a lot and not run Lamar as much as they did in the past, which I think that can help Dobbins. You know, give him some more carries, not running Lamar, not beating the hell out of him. And we know that offense runs good through Lamar, and that's the only way it's going to run good. We've seen Huntley, we've seen Anthony Brown, and just not real good. I know Huntley was a Pro Bowler, but
Don't even get me started on that.
piss his tie off every time. He got a participation trophy.
He's the flag football MVP.
So we know in order to set up the big plays, Monken is going to need to establish that run game. And that's going to be, I believe, through Dobbins, more than anybody. I mean, we will see some Edwards, but Dobbins is going to be the guy. I believe we could see a lot of the no huddle, so more of a fast-paced offense in this. So that's going to help everybody, I mean, including Dobbins. I'm fine with this. They don't need to run Dobbins into the ground, I feel like. He's a very efficient runner. His rookie year, he averaged 6.01 yards per carry. And his rookie year, he averaged 6.01 yards per carry. Yeah. And last year, in his 8 games, he averaged 5.6 yards per carry. So, I mean, that's pretty high yards per carry.
That's really
good.
good.
They normally make a pretty big deal. Chubb, his career, 5 yard per carry.
And that's my next point here. And I've compared him to Nick Chubb in the past. I feel like he's one of the best pure runners in the NFL. And if he's healthy, he definitely can show that. Monken was the OC in Cleveland in 2019, so kind of weird to compare him to Nick Chubb.
No, I didn't know that.
And he was actually the offensive coordinator for them with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb was running back 8 and had a career-high 36 receptions. So Chubb's not somebody known for catching the ball. He can, but doesn't do it often. Chubb also had a 73% opportunity share, and I'm thinking that's about what we can see with Dobbins.
Yeah.
Right around that 70% opportunity share. Where he's gone, it's just way too late, guys. I mean, 64 ADP on Sleeper, that's running back 20. If his knee is fine, I think he can easily finish as a top 10 back. The Ravens have a fairly easy schedule this year. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know. We've looked at a couple. It's right around 20s.
About middle of the road.
Yeah, around middle of the road. This might not be a real long-term option, but I think within the next 2 to 3 years, I'm in on Dobbins. I mean, especially only being 24 years old. So what do you guys feel about Dobbins?
I love it, man. I love it. I love it when you said it to me the other day. Like, that was who you were really thinking about doing, because it really makes a lot of sense.
It does.
I mean, you do look at that yards per carry towards the end of the season, and I agree with you in your point. Like, he does remind you a lot of Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
Like, he is a really just good, pure running back. And, he's in an offense that loves to pound it. And, the thing is, man, another thing is with Munchkin,
Yeah.
you know, is he's a Georgia guy too. And we know that Georgia is notorious for running the football.
Right.
I mean, yeah, he does have that air raid type style, that background, but still he knows when it comes down to it, the nuts and bolts of running the football.
Right.
They will get it done. And you know Baltimore. I mean, I'm sure they're going to throw it more than they have in the past, but it's still the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
They're still going to want to pound it out on the ground.
And I feel like it's the same thing with the Steelers. Like, I mean, you know they want to throw it, but they pound nausea. It's just like an AFC North old school style.
Exactly.
And with a lot of startups coming up, like that's perfect. Like,
Right,
like
yeah.
you know, you don't want to fade running back too much. I mean, it is the one position like you don't want in Superflex, you don't want to fade quarterback. You know, tight end premium, you don't want to fade tight end.
Right.
You know, receivers are always valuable to have in PPR. So running back always seems to be that one position like, okay, I can wait a little bit. If you could get him around where you're saying,
Yeah, like the 4th or 5th round in the startup. Oh my God.
you could hit
Yeah.
a big home run, man, a big home run. And you know, you could have someone, if the knee is fine, if it is indeed fine, but it is good medicine nowadays. The
Right.
you know the surgeries have gotten better. If it is 100% okay, this guy could be a monster for the next 3 to 4 years. So and I love it. I love the buy.
One thing that I liked about him too is that he went out in the field and said, "Hey, I'm not right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not right. I need to go up and get a cleanup procedure," and he did that. I know he still wasn't completely right, but I feel like with all this time waiting, like he has the time to know, like, I'm right.
Yep.
Exactly.
And this is like the perfect. And you look at like Breece Hall. Like he is being even discounted in a lot of
Yeah.
startups right now. Like I mean, compared to where he should be going to where he is going.
Right.
So like with Dobbins, a lot of people just forget, but he is a hammer of a back. I mean, the guy is a beast.
And what I don't understand too is like everybody has CMC a lot as their running back one, which CMC's a great player.
Right.
And he went through this whole injury shit too. But like he is 27 years old, I believe. 26 or be 27, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if you're worried about Dobbins, you can get 2 to 3 years out of him. How much more are you going to get out of CMC?
That's
Exactly.
it.
How much more are you going to get out of Henry, Eckler? You know, a lot of these guys, that's all you're probably going to get, and you're going to be lucky to get that.
Dalvin Cook,
Dalvin Cook. I mean,
Joe Mixon with his problems, Alvin Kamara
Yeah.
with his problems. I mean, you're starting to see a curtain call on some of these running backs. So I'm with you. Like, I love this. Ty, what do you think? Because I'm curious. I see like you're into it. I want to know what you're thinking.
I've always liked Dobbins. Just obviously the injury bug always seems to bite him. But just like Andy brought up, what's really exciting to me is they're going to throw the football a little bit more. We know Lamar's not a really big downfield guy, so I think they're going to check down the Dobbins a lot, and it's going to open up his passing game, which could even make him even more valuable. We just need him to stay healthy.
That's a good point too, Ty. I mean, if they ain't going to run Lamar as much, he is going to be looking for them little leak outs, them little dump offs. And I think Dobbins has. I mean, like he isn't like a premier pass catcher.
No.
But like
No.
he's proven that he's serviceable though in that area.
right. And if he gets me, 30 catches, I mean, I'll take it.
Hey, them are
Right.
just bonus points.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Because I think just as a pure runner, like if you could get Nick Chubb stats out of him,
Yeah.
I mean, you hit a home run getting
Oh,
where you're
yeah,
hitting.
yeah.
So that's a great buy-in. Really like it.
Yeah.
We're going to go over here to me. We're going to hop into the tight end pool now. And you know who it's going to be. It's one of my personal favorites. My post-NFL draft tight end buy is Chigozie Okonkwo, tight end for the Tennessee Titans. That even sounds good. Tight end for the Tennessee Titans. I like that. But no, honestly, guys, I love Chig. And he's being so undervalued right now. And what was funny is, like, I was doing some research on this, and I was just telling these guys when we walked in here, just so happened, I didn't look at the name. I was in a hurry, but someone put, like, what is people getting for Chigozie Okonkwo right now? Like, have you made any trades? I seen 2 where he was acquired for 4th-round picks. I mean, you're talking about a guy that is a super freak athlete in an offense that has nobody to throw to outside of Treylon Burks. And you look at his stats last year, man, he put up double-digit points. The last 6 weeks of the season, he put up double-digit points 3 times.
Yeah.
And his snap share, he only had a 60% snap share 1 time all season. That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
And then you throw in the fact now he's a year older, and Tennessee always seems to utilize the tight end. You go back to Delaney Walker. I mean, look how well he did there. He kind of reminds me of Delaney. Now, he ain't quite as physical as Delaney was. I don't think he's quite as good in the blocking game, but in the receiving aspects of it, I think they're very, very similar because Delaney was a good athlete too for his size.
Yeah.
But Tennessee's always know how to use them guys. like I said, the volume alone that he could see is the key here to me, and what you're getting him for. I mean, if you get him for a fourth, even a third, I mean, I think you're stealing him. You're talking about a guy, in my opinion, that has a chance to finish as a top 12 tight end this year.
Yeah.
Just on sheer volume alone, if he stays healthy. But he's someone that I really liked in the scouting process last year. Andy knows I was in on him. I was in on Greg Dulcich, kind of later round guys that I liked, just dart throw type guys. So, I don't know. I just think like you could line him up anywhere. You could put him in the slot. He's willing to go on the line, but 60% snap share one time. That could only go up.
It's only going to go up because Austin Hooper's out the door now.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's really who commanded the tight end snap percentage there, especially if Will Levis comes in. I mean, who does the young quarterback like more than anybody? We can see with Kenny Pickett last year.
Yeah.
They like safety blanket and tight end. So I think it could be a really good buy, especially for fourth round. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, man. And, he only scored 3 touchdowns last year. To me, that number only can go up too.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's just, for me, it's the value that you're getting him for here and the volume that he's probably going to see.
Right.
And even Ryan Tannehill offense, what is it? It isn't throwing it all over the yard. It's throwing it underneath. It's throwing it across the middle. So I feel good there. Like Ty said, Will Levis, if he comes in, what better a security blanket to throw to your tight end?
Yeah, we seen Kenny last year at Pat Fryermuth.
Definitely. And then you got the play action with Derrick Henry to consider too. And usually tight ends are very prominent in play action in a Tennessee-style offense.
Right.
So I'm in on Chig. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they didn't bring anybody else in, receiver or tight end wise, so
He's probably the number 2 option.
I mean, who else do they have?
Yeah, I mean,
and it's just like a sneaky. No one thinks of it. It's like last year he was not well known. He come on later in the season, and a lot of teams by that time were gearing up for a playoff run, so they really didn't notice it. Like it didn't happen in the middle of the season where you're like, oh, thank God he come on. Now I can park him in my tight end spot.
right.
A lot of people at that point, if they needed a tight end, they probably already acquired one via trade. So he kind of come on kind of sneakily through the back door here.
oh yeah, he's just a good football player. Like I remember seeing him against Jacksonville. Like he was lining up as a fullback. Like he just liked to move him around, line him up outside, and his athleticism. Yeah, I really like the pick. I don't know if he'll ever be like a top 5 guy, but I think he can definitely make that 12. You know.
Yeah, I think you're going to see him right around 8 to 10.
Okay.
I really think he could finish as high as 8. I don't think he'll get any higher than that. But all I'm saying is, like, for a 4th round pick, you're getting a quality tight end.
Yeah. I mean, definitely.
And 60% snap share one time. He averaged more like about a 40% snap share. I'd say it's probably right around 40 to 35% as a rookie.
Yeah.
And he in the last 6 games, man, he impressed me. He caught my eye very strongly. Like I said, I just think you getting someone here. And, I've seen, too, in a lot of trades, he's a great throw-in piece.
Yeah.
If you're working on a deal, someone has him, and you can use another tight end for depth, even if you have a good starter, or even in tight end premium, say, hey, throw me Chig. Can I have him, too? I think it would be a good get for you.
I think our only gamble here is like if the Titans just suck. You know what I mean?
That's it.
I think as we talked with Dobbins, the other side of the gamble is he healthy?
Right.
I think this one is the Titans are they any good? Like, is he going to be able to be in the red zone enough to catch them touchdowns?
Yeah.
And the only difference is, though, on one thing I'll say that makes me feel better is the weak division.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacksonville, of course, we know Jacksonville's on the rise, but Houston's still on a rebuilding project. Indy's now on a rebuilding project. So is Tennessee, really. They're headed that way, but they're still a little more experienced in a couple of these clubs.
Right.
So that might pan out well for them. I just think it's a good value buy. I would temper my expectations. But, hey, you throw mud at a wall and it sticks. You never know.
Yeah, and I think this is a must move that you never do must, but you always talk about it. When you're on the clock and somebody wants that guy in the 3rd round or even the 4th round, throw it out there. Maybe somebody's intrigued because Zach Evans fell, or maybe
Michael
Tank
Wilson.
Dell fell or something. Like I don't mind Tank Dell, but I take Chig, man. I think that's a really good move to make.
Yeah.
Me too, especially like if you don't get like a Laporta or a Musgrave. If you miss out on some of these guys, I think that you could sneakily get this guy that could be around a top 10 finisher. And like I said, the volume alone just is so enticing. I mean, he's going to see a lot of stuff coming his way because, I love Treylon Burks, and I hope that it works out We all really like him. I think we think he's going to do well, but will he be able to stay healthy?
Right.
That's the big concern too, because if he don't, then who else do they have?
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah.
We're going to go over here to Ty, though. We're going to hop into the running back pool with him. Ty, your first post-NFL draft running back buy, who do you have?
Yeah, I have James Cook, 23 years old, running back 44 last year. Barely got a chance, really. I mean, he put up respectable numbers with what he had. His highest percentage of snaps last year was 56%. After that, it was only 43%, and it just kept dropping. It was like low 40s, 30%. So he's definitely going to get a chance this year. Devin Singletary's out the door. He should be the guy in Buffalo unless they bring in somebody in free agency or if they trade for somebody. But I really think Buffalo's going to roll with Cook. They got the capital with him. And in fantasy-wise, he's got the high upside in the passing game. And I think right now is the time to strike for him if you do want to get him. Rookie drafts are coming up if you haven't already done them. It's a deep running back class. I don't know what you guys think his value could be at the moment. Maybe a second-round pick. You think that could get the job done?
It'd be close. It'd have to be a high second.
The bad thing is a lot of people draft him in the first.
Yeah.
If you weren't high like on a Chaney or a Kendre or Tajay Spears, I think like if you got like right around the 2-1, 2-2, it could be possible if someone wanted a Chaney.
Yeah.
You know, because there are people out there that would say, oh, I really want him. I want to share. You could possibly flip him.
Right. Yeah. I think if you do want to get him, it'd have to at least be a high second. But if you can do that deal, I think it's going to pay off for you, especially if he is the guy in Buffalo. Just being the guy in Buffalo and their offense at the running back spot already gives you your value. And if he takes off, you really got something. And we've seen he can catch the ball. We've seen that out of college. Even last year, he did okay catching the ball. And he's even great in the running game. And that's shown, I've seen a stat, 48.7% of his yards coming from breakaway runs. That's 15-plus yards. That's the highest. Minimum 75 carries. That's the highest among running backs in the NFL. So he's shown that he can be the guy. He just hopefully they don't bring in anybody to give him a chance. And like I said, if you get him from early second, I think he could be a boom for you.
Yeah, 23 years old. And honestly, I mean, I do like James Cook. I do. That was someone else that me and Andy liked through the process last year a lot. And I think he's going to do a lot better than people expect. Because I do think he's going to command a lot more of the backfield this year. I mean, I still think they're going to still have their typical committee that they use, but I think he's going to be out there the most. Like Devin Singletary seemed to be that guy last year. Now it will go into Cook. But the only bonus with Cook is he's a lot better pass catcher than Singletary.
Yeah.
So that should help. I mean, on pass points alone. And if you needed a running back, man, honestly, with his age in that offense, I wouldn't have any trouble giving up like 111, 112 for him. And, you know, if you really wanted him, because I'm a Kendre guy. I personally would rather have Kendre just because I love Kendre Miller. But, I mean, if you wanted to give that up for James Cook, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
No, I wouldn't either.
Especially with his age.
James Cook, I mean, I really liked him coming out of Georgia as well. I thought he was best pass catcher in the class. I mean, between him and Rashad, I thought it was actually pretty close. And even Brace is a really good pass catcher.
Yeah.
So I thought that was all pretty close. The only thing with Buffalo that worried me was Josh Allen taking touchdowns, and he did.
Right.
But we need to see more of James Cook, like, getting opportunities catching the ball because he's really good at it.
Right.
And he is underrated between the tackles. I mean, he averaged 5.7 yards per carry between the tackles.
That's not bad at all.
No, and that's on 91 attempts. So that's not bad at all. And if he's anything like his brother, we've seen what Dalvin did in the league.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, it might take a little bit for him to warm up. I think expectations were high. You know, Buffalo's a really good team.
Yep.
So let's see what happens this year. It does kind of suck they brought in Damian Harris out of New England, but he'll see some of the between the work guys. But who is a guy that's going to get all the opportunity? I mean, look, we're drafting like Jahmyr Gibbs and shit. Now, I'm not saying, you know, James Cook's better than Jahmyr Gibbs, but
right.
I mean, they have Montgomery there. This happens with a lot of teams. So, yeah, I mean, I can definitely, if he's catching like 50, 60 balls somehow, oh, look out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could be an absolute steal.
Yeah.
And only 2 touchdowns last year. I mean, you can't predict it, but surely that'll go
He
up.
kind of put himself in a doghouse early. He fumbled against the Rams week 1.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of put. What a weird game. That happened. Then Cam Akers, he just completely went away from. I mean, you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember
Everybody's
that.
selling Cam Akers like a 5th-round pick. I'm like, shit. This
Wish
is
I'd have
bad.
been buying that for a 5th.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I don't mind it at all. I mean, let's just see how they utilize them. I hope they utilize them the right way. Let's just say that. That's the downside. Do they utilize them the right way? If they utilize them in the right way, oh, my God.
And if you weren't a Kendra person, would you feel comfortable like 111, 112 if you needed a back?
Oh, yeah, because you're looking at guys like Quentin Johnston, Dalton Kincaid. I mean, I think I'd rather gamble on James Cook.
Yeah, especially if you're running back needy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm not a big Will Levis fan. Superflex, that'd be hard to take over Will Levis.
Would you guys rather have James Cook or Tajay Spears?
I'm a big Tajay fan.
Yeah,
But the right answer is probably James Cook.
They're a pretty similar player.
Yeah.
I'd gamble on Cook.
Yeah.
I can't do that to my boy Tajay.
That's right.
But the right answer, I'm probably telling the wrong answer.
Oh, I just thought maybe Twitter had you believing he only has 1 knee now.
Yeah. they ain't fooling me.
He ain't bluffing Andy. He still got his cards. I really like that, Ty. I think James Cook's someone that if you needed a running back, like I said, a late round first, early second, I'd be okay with it.
Could you imagine if they dealt him though?
It could happen.
I'm just saying, if they decide they're not going to utilize him right, and he went to Kansas City, where dreams become true.
Goes to the Chargers.
But but does go to the Chargers or something, and we're like, holy man.
Everything can, and that's what we say about the NFL. You can just flip a coin sometimes. Crazy stuff can happen. It can get turned on its head in a minute.
Yeah.
And just going by what we've seen on film with James Cook, we really like the player.
Right.
Let's just hope Buffalo utilizes him in the passing game more. Mm-hmm. And they do, and them touchdown numbers do go up. If them touchdown numbers go up, that alone will help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really thought he was going to be like the Alvin Kamara type.
I
role.
did too.
Yeah. And he still could be.
He still could be.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, because the way I look at it is you draft the guy, he really doesn't do too much for you. It's a deep running back class. Maybe you're a little frustrated and you're like, you know what, I'd rather take, Tajay Spears or something like that, or the 2-1. So.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I like it. I think it's a good one. I'd gamble.
I do too.
If I need a running back, I'd be willing to gamble. We're going to go over here to Muss. Muss, we're going to go back to the tight end pool. Anxious to see who you have. Muss, your post-NFL draft tight end buy. Who do you have?
So this one's, I actually kind of stole this from Andy because we were on the phone the one day and he didn't have we were in a startup and he didn't have a tight end yet. And he goes, I got a sleeper, but.
Trading secrets.
Well, he was like, I don't want to say it. I'm like, I promise, man, you can say it. I won't steal it. And he told me Irv Smith, and I for a second, I was like, oh, okay. And then he goes, yeah, because he signed with the Bengals. And I'm like, oh, I forgot all about that. So, I mean, that's my sleeper. I completely forgot. I mean, I'm sure if you send people trade requests, they're going to see the Cincinnati logo, and they're probably going to be refreshed and be like, oh, yeah. But, right now his ADP is tight end 34.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Crazy. I was looking through the trade browser. Now, it's all over the place. Mm-hmm. I saw seconds, and I also saw some fifths.
What?
Yeah.
You can get Irv Smith for a 5th-round pick. Please do it.
Yeah.
Because going back to what I said about Chig, I mean, the thing is, you got a guy that has potential to finish around that top 10 echelon.
Yeah.
It's a good football buy.
Yeah.
It really is. But go ahead, Moss.
Right. I mean, I don't have any stats or anything, but just the Hayden Hurst last year with Ty saying to go buy Hayden Hurst. And Hayden Hurst was a very serviceable tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Moss.
And Irv Smith, I mean, his injury concerns do scare me, but hell, if you can get him even for a late third, any 4th, 5th, I mean, I'm all for it. Any part of that Cincinnati offense, because Joe Burrow is going to throw for 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not even like he had a disaster of a year last year other than the injury. Before his injury, he did pretty well. 18, 6, 7, 10, 13. That's not...
It's not horrible.
No, that's pretty good.
He's still 24 years old, so he still has a lot of, shelf life left.
And that's what I love about these dynasty young buy Chig.
Yeah.
Irv Smith. Like, they still got age to them.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, like I said, if you miss out on Laporta, if you miss out on Musgrave in the second round, I mean, a lot of people are in on them guys.
Right.
And Michael Mayer, like, if you miss out on someone you want, you'd be better served to get one of these guys for, like you said, like late third, fourth, fifth round pick.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he's like the same age as Kincaid.
Yeah.
And he's been in the league for how long?
Like 4 years.
Since 2019. Because I remember coming out of Alabama, I believe.
Alabama. Yep.
Everybody was kind of going crazy, and it seemed like a good landing spot.
Yeah, and he did start out fairly good, and then he just got hurt. And
Right.
It was like...
It was the injuries, I think, that got
It
him.
was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a great offense for him. He's a little undersized, 240 pounds, but like, man, if they can just use him the right way, and like you said, Burrow's throwing for like 5,000 yards.
Oh, yeah.
So like, if he can get you, 7-8 touchdowns and maybe like 800, 900 yards, holy man! I mean, getting them where you're getting them,
Yeah.
it's a great pick.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Hayden Hurst finished last year.
I want to say like 14.
Yeah, he was up
Yeah,
there.
so I mean,
Yeah.
And Burrow really spreads the ball out, too. I mean, when he's throwing the ball to, like, that guy Irwin, whatever the hell his name is, I mean, he really spreads the ball out.
He finished 21. He played in
okay.
14 games.
Yeah, he missed
so-
some time, but he had quite a few double digit games. If I'm not mistaken, like he didn't score like a lot of touchdowns. I don't think he's got like a lot of big plays, but like a lot of catches. It seemed like like Burrow was willing to throw it to him underneath quite a bit, and like Hayden Hurst, he can buy Joe Burrow a steak dinner because he got him that contract in Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And if you guys think back the year before that, who did good there? C.J. Uzomah had a nice year there.
yeah.
So this is like following a trend, a pattern that I really like.
And they didn't draft anybody. This is like a really good tight end draft class, and everybody said there's no way that anybody's going to draft. Like they're definitely drafting a tight end.
Yeah.
There's no way they're coming out of this draft. They didn't even draft, a late round guy like Kuntz or
Tucker Kraft.
Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, they passed on all them guys because they're rolling with Irv Smith.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you look at it, the potential's there. I'm like you guys. I think it's the injuries.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. And really, let's be honest. I mean, in Minnesota, it didn't work out. We know this too. You know this. Sometimes a good change of scenery is really nice for a player.
I've seen it happen so many times.
Yep. And he could come into Cincinnati and fit like a glove. But like I like that because going back, like I said about Chig, what you're giving up to get him is nothing.
Yeah.
And it all could work out well.
Yeah.
So that's really something to consider. I really like that Muss, really low key, really like it. We're going to go over here to Ann now. We're going to hop into the tight end pool with him. And your post-NFL draft tight end buy, who you rolling with?
I'm going with Darren Waller. Was traded to the Giants for a third-round pick. 30 years old. He will be 31 by the start of the season. He's dealt with injuries the past 2 years. 2021, he only played 11 games, and last year he only played 9 games. I thought Dan Bellinger looked all right in the offense at times last year.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We know Darren Waller's a lot better than Dan Bellinger. So
Oh, yeah.
I think that speaks words there. In 19 and 20, he did play 16 games. He was tight end 3 and tight end 2. So he's already been in that upper echelon, so we know he can do it. He's talented enough. He knows this is a different offense, but it's nice seeing a guy like him hopefully get a resurgence, like you said, move him. Because he did start out with Baltimore, had some off-the-field issues, and then landed up in Vegas, and, really nice spot. Actually, I think he was a former wide receiver with Baltimore, wasn't he?
Yeah, he come in as a receiver, yep.
Yeah, I thought he came in as a receiver. A lot of Dynasty players seem to believe he's washed up. We've seen 30-year-old tight ends be successful. I'm going to name some guys here. Travis Kelce, Gronk, who obviously are Hall of Famers. Dallas Clark, Tony Gonzalez, Gary Barnidge. You probably won't hear that name on this show again.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary Barnidge.
Yeah. Delaney Walker, Greg Olson, Jason Witten. So, I mean, multiple guys have done this, and I feel like the games even kind of went away a little bit more from when them guys were there, where you've seen more injuries because of, like, just the trenches. You know what I mean?
And you go back, even Shannon Sharp back in the heyday.
Yeah,
That
Shannon
age.
Sharp.
Yep.
So, this isn't a long-term investment, but I do like him for the next 2 years. The Giants have a potential out in 2024, but they do have him signed up until 2027. It'd be really hard for me to see them being out on him. I honestly think he's going to have a really good year. Then also, being a top 5 tight end, we've seen that. It's such a positional advantage. I know TJ and I talk about this all the time. So example I'm going to give, tight end 6 last year is Tyler Higbee, 8.94 points per game in 17 games. Hayden Hurst, who we just went over, 7.85 points per game in 14 games. So that's just over a point per game difference from tight end 6 to tight end 21.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So if you can get yourself a guy like Waller who can be a top 5 guy, it does. It gives you such a positional advantage, guys. I mean, it's a league winner. I always love to come out of my drafts with Mark Andrews. Never get Travis Kelce. He's always too high, and I always think the fall's coming.
Yeah.
But, I love getting guys like Mark Andrews, George Kittle, you know.
Yep.
Kyle Pitts, I know he's been disappointing, but that's what people were shooting for, is that positional advantage. Weeks 1 and 2 last year, he was tight end 9 and 2. It seems like Vegas has had a lot of drama going on there and still do. So I'm just glad he's out of that whole mess.
Yeah, do you see that whole thing with his wedding or something?
That he didn't go, and wasn't it? He didn't go.
No, he wanted it to be a secret.
He wanted it to be a secret.
Yeah, he didn't. I guess they wanted a secret wedding or something, and Josh McDaniels told everybody about it or something.
Oh, that's a dick move.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It was something about his wedding was supposed to be a secret.
Right.
And I seen today Devontae Adams is complaining about the Raiders. I seen he didn't agree with what was going on. He come out and said it, and he's like, well, I'm just going to try to make the best of it.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of stuck there, so. I'm just glad Waller's out of that whole mess.
Right.
The most he's seen last year is only an 84% snap share. I mean, this is a top-end guy, and he's only seeing that much. I know he was hurt, but that's way too low. As I've mentioned before, Daboll is the Pats head coach, or not head coach, tight end coach in some of Gronk's prime years from 2013 to 16. So I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. Maybe it's just a little fun fact. Maybe it means something. I also expect Waller to be the target leader with New York. I project his targets. I'm projecting a little high. I have 140, but I'm going to say probably more than likely 110.
Yeah.
110 targets because they got a bunch of different smaller guys. And Daniel Jones does throw the ball around, but 110 targets for a tight end, man. I mean, that's really good.
I think it's definitely over 100.
Yeah, I definitely do too. His yards per catch has always been great. I mean, with the Raiders, and his career per PFF, 12. I mean, that's pretty high volume.
Right.
12 yards per catch. His ADP on Sleeper is 97. Tight end 11. I think that's way too low. I mean, I know he's a little bit older. Could easily be a top 5 guy, as I've mentioned before. And he can be the league winner. I mean, I think this is a guy we could look and be like, what were we thinking?
Yep.
So I would easily give up my late first for him. I feel that confident. I mean, I know you're giving up the youth and Kincaid right there, but if you're back in that 11, 10, 11, 12 range, you probably have a chance to win your league, guys. And I mean, Kincaid probably isn't going to help you win your league. He's probably going to help you in the next 3 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really good move.
And I love Kincaid, but there's no guarantee with the Buffalo offense. I mean,
Right.
we see it with Kansas City. Oh, he went to Kansas City, and it's just a bust.
And I feel like they're trying to carbon copy Kansas City, and I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think the right thing what they should have done, I think what Buffalo should have done was trade up for Jackson Smith and Jake. They should have traded up for a receiver.
I agree with that.
Not trade up just a pick or two for a tight end. As much as I love Kincaid, I just think if you're trying to find a number 2 receiver, you got to go receiver.
Especially when you're a heavy air attack like they are.
Yeah. So
And going back to Waller, just the talent alone, put that aside. Darren Waller, we know, like you said, he can be a difference maker.
right.
But the landing spot is perfect.
Yeah.
You could not ask for a better landing spot for Darren Waller. If you're a Darren Waller owner and you're he left Vegas, oh my God, the Giants is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Because Daniel Jones, that's his style of player he's going to throw to heavily.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm with you. I think 110 targets is likely. I'm going to guarantee over 100 if he's healthy. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be heavily involved. And the Giants are one of them teams, man, they're taking the step. Hopefully they can get the Saquon thing worked out.
Yeah, I hope so.
If they can, their offense is going to be a juggernaut, man. And this guy could be the centerpiece. And down around the red zone, he's going to be a matchup nightmare.
Yeah.
So I love the Waller buy. What do you think, Mus? I see you're thinking over there. The wheel's turning.
Yeah, no, I mean, ever since Andy said that thing, what was it, last week or 2 weeks, about Dable being
The tight end coach.
Tight end coach for the Patriots. Yeah.
I mean, that kind of clicked. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, wow, like that in Bellinger. Makes sense with Bellinger last year. And
Yeah, it's a tough break for Bellinger because he
Yeah, it
did
really
look all
is.
right. I
Yeah,
mean,
really
he looked
is.
real good.
yeah, but-
especially for being a rookie. But I mean, I did a little stat, and I didn't write it down here, but it was like Lance Cager, Tanner Hudson, a bunch of like no-name guys, and they still all together had like 80 targets or close
really?
to it. So
yeah.
you're not telling me Darren Waller ain't, he's
Yeah.
way better than all that.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't chump change.
And,
Yeah.
and it, giving up a third-round pick, I mean, that's decent capital.
Right.
I mean, they could have probably got another receiver there, like if they weren't sold on Hyatt. So,
Yeah, I think it's wheels up for Waller.
yeah, me too. Me too.
Definitely, man. I agree. I love it. I think that could be a league winner for a lot of people. I think that could be a difference maker.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw in two. Out of the top 5, top 6 guys, he's probably the cheapest one you can get for the positional advantage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's a lot cheaper than guys like Kittle and
Yep.
stuff like that.
That's
So-
a great point.
That is a great point.
Because he is under the radar. Everyone knows Darren Waller, but these last couple seasons haven't been all sunshine and roses for him.
Well, what's everybody want? Production now. That's why a lot of these guys are hurt. Like we're buying these guys that are hurt and maybe a little bit older. Not everybody's a little bit older, but like production now. But it's not always that easy.
No.
Everything can change on a dime, man. Like we love Bijan. Knock on wood. I don't want to say this and curse him. What if he come out and tore his ACL?
Right.
It can happen. Look
It
at
can
Brees.
happen, and then he can. And because he tore his ACL and had no other prior anything, he becomes injury. He's a what's the word for that? Injury prone.
Yeah.
It's like, no, dude, it just happens. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
can't predict that stuff.
my buddy was showing a football drill. He was a coach and just turned the wrong way and tore his ACL. Like no pads, no nothing.
Well, look at that.
It just happens.
Look at that closer for the Mets in the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
He was just like jumping up and down. And
Yeah.
It just, like you said, and stuff like that
It
happens.
just happens, and then sometimes it takes more than a year. And then we read a lot of stuff with Dalvin Cook before he broke out that the hamstring usually it's because it's not used as much because you were riddled up for so long.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And you just got to really sit back. Like, I know it's hard and it sucks. If you have a bad year this year, like you have Brees Hall, and like you said, God forbid he has a setback, but he might. I mean, Javonte Williams, he might. But the best thing you can do is just be patient. Don't undersell. And I've always said this is one of my favorite slogans. Dynasty is a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
So you got to value your assets the best way you can. Sell at the right times, buy at the right times.
Yep, just like a stock market.
Definitely. Really like the Waller buy, man. That's someone to keep an eye on. Love the landing spot. We're going to cruise over here to me. I'm going to jump into the running back pool. This one's for you, Mus. I'm double dipping.
Okay.
We're going to do my post-NFL draft running back buy. I'm going to do Najee Harris.
There we go.
Running back, Pittsburgh Steelers. Few reasons, man. I just really love his chances this year to finish high. I mean, I really do. The guy, number one, is very, very tough. Like, he don't get hurt very often. I mean, like, you go back through, he does what, like, he plays through stuff.
Yeah, he's played with a damn plate in his shoe.
So,
like,
and one of our other favorite slogans, the best ability is availability. Najee's usually available, so he makes himself available. Love that. You go and you see what Omar Khan and Andy Weidel did this offseason with the Steelers, building up that offensive line. I mean, bringing in Sumalo and bringing in Herbig and bringing in some other veteran guys, then going out and getting Broderick Jones in the first round. And they came out and made a point to say, this is how we want to play football.
Yeah.
And I know like a lot of people are worried about Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren's a fine back, and I think he's a great backup and a great handcuff.
Yeah.
But I foresee this being no more than a 70-30 split.
Yeah.
You go back to last year, man, even down the stretch, Najee was 60% snap share the majority of the time, 60 to 65%. And he actually got into the 70s a couple times.
He was hurt, and I think that's why it was even down, just because he was a little bit banged up.
Yeah, and you look at this, man. When you go back to the Tampa Bay game last year, week 6, the whole way to week 18, he finished with double-digit points every time except for one, And the one time he didn't, it was 9.9. Mm-hmm. So right there, like you could see the Steelers were turning the corner a little bit with their young offense. Mm-hmm. And you look, like I wrote an article about this on dynastydna.net. Like you look what happened last year, like this coming into this season with these running backs. I mean, you got Javonte with the ACL, Breece Hall with the ACL. You got Dalvin Cook, who knows what's going to happen with him. You got Derrick Henry, who could still be traded. You got the Alvin Kamara mess. You got the Joe Mixon mess.
Yeah, he's hanging out with John Morant.
So, like, the running back landscape overall is not, like, real pretty right now.
Right.
And you look at a guy that's always available, always plays well. They beef up the line. They tell you how you want to play. And you go back to last year down the stretch. We all know Najee's a great pass catcher. Mm-hmm. Kenny Pickett seemed to be relying on him more in those last couple games, coming out of the backfield. They were building a chemistry. We all know that game-winning touchdown catch he had against the Ravens. Mm-hmm. So I think his receiving production is going to go up. And here's one for you that I know that I'm almost guaranteeing that it'll be more, barring injury. 7 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, that's going to be more.
And he finished running back 14 with a bad offense.
Yeah.
And I just see this guy, like, to me, I think he's going to finish in the top 10 for sure.
Oh, yeah.
If he's healthy, I'm predicting top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I just think it's possible. And then you throw in the fact, too, man, that, they're just getting better all around. I mean, Kenny Pickett's developing more and more. Mm-hmm. And if he can throw the ball down the field a little bit, that's going to open up Najee running the ball more, too. Play action. You get a good mix. That helps any offense.
Right.
And I just really think that he has the potential this year. And like I said, he's just someone that don't get hurt. And I love buying people like that. And you know, what is his value? You know, you go out, high-end running back production. What do you got to pay for a Breece Hall when he's healthy? What do you got to pay for Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah.
In his heyday.
Yeah.
You know, what do you got to give up to give Bijan right now? You know, so Najee is that guy I think that you can plug in your lineup every year. Like, I think that he could, like, rushing-wise, if we can open up the holes for him, I think he could run just as well as Nick Chubb can.
Oh, yeah.
And then he gives you more in the receiving game if we can work that into our offense. So I just see someone that I think, like, you might only have to pay a first-round pick for, and in one quarterback, I'd be willing to give up just one first-round pick. I'd be willing to give up as much as the 102 for Najee Harris. And one quarterback. In Superflex, I think right around 5, I'd be willing to do that. And I think in most scenarios, you might get him. We see him in a lot of startups. I mean, heck, we're getting him what?
Round.
Yeah, 410, 411.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that he's criminally underrated right now. What do you guys think?
I think what really hurts him in the Dynasty community's eyes that don't watch, I mean, obviously we're Pittsburgh fans and we see him.
Yeah.
Is you look at this yards per carry, the 3.82, the 3.91.
Right.
He had a horrible offensive line.
He did.
He's getting smacked behind the line and breaking tackles. I wish I would have looked into it. I don't know if you've seen anything about it. I'd love to know what his break tackle is.
Yeah.
Because I know he gets smacked behind the line all the time. Makes something out of nothing half the time.
Yep.
Right.
Has really good hands. Of course, we'll probably never see that again because Ben's noodle arm there. I mean, it was just wore out. So, and another thing, they're going to want to establish the run. I think we could see that a little bit more because Kenny Pickett is not Ben Roethlisberger. I love Kenny Pickett, but there's only one Big Ben.
Right.
And I think that how they're going to win is smash mouth football.
Yep.
They got 2 good running backs. Jaylen Warren, I mean, like you said, I think he's a top handcuff.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I love what they did with the line. I think bringing in Washington in the 3rd round, that's
another one I forgot to mention, yeah.
It's only going to help, man.
That's
Yep.
huge.
So, and they're going to be playing side by side, I feel like, a lot, on that left side. So,
And that 7 touchdown number, man. And I just think our offense, and you go back, a lot of people are giving the Steelers a lot of disrespect right now, saying like our schedule is so much easier than last year.
yeah, we had a rough schedule.
We did, man. And for a young team, that was really hard.
Yeah.
And they really come together down the stretch. And now you're getting an easier schedule, more experience, bringing in more talented players.
And another thing we know with Mike Tomlin is he likes to run one back. He's not really one of these, like,
Committee guys.
out of all the shit I say about Mike Tomlin, that's one thing that I do like. He runs one back.
He's old school.
He is a very old school coach, so.
Yep. So that's something to look at. And, like, I think that's probably realistic. What do you think? Like 70-30? Right in that neighborhood? 65-35?
Yeah, and 70-30 in today's NFL is great.
Yeah. And that's just it, man. And then, too, the value of it. I mean, and do you agree with me about the 1 first-round pick? I mean,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think you could get him for that. I think there's a great chance.
Because we're gambling on Gibbs, man, and I like Gibbs. I do like Gibbs, but David Montgomery's there.
Yep.
He is a little undersized. The only thing that I could see the Lions doing is try and look, as Dynasty players, we love the fit.
Yeah.
As an NFL team, I'm laughing at the Lions for that pick. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Right.
So the only thing I could see with Gibbs is they're going to use the shit out of him to try to justify what they did.
Yep.
It's either he's going to get hurt or he's going to be good.
And, too, another scary thing is, like, Dan Campbell's loyalty.
Yeah.
You know, it just seems like, because, like, he seemed like he loved Jamal Williams so much.
Yeah.
And then, like, he was out the door.
I heard on a podcast, damn it, I wish I could remember which one it was. Maybe you heard it if it's one that we both listened to, but they labeled him as soft, as Swift.
Swift.
DeAndre Swift is soft, and that's why they moved him. So
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't hear
that's what was on this pod, and I wish I could say it.
Who labeled him? Like the Campbell?
Yeah, Dan Campbell
okay.
labeled
Okay.
Swift as soft.
Wow.
And that's what a kick to the dick there. You
Yeah.
know?
It's like Dan Campbell's like the ultimate wrestling heel. Like, he turns on people.
Yeah.
You know, like, Jamal Williams, I love you. You're out of here.
Yeah.
You know, DeAndre Swift, you're gone. Hey,
he can't get that extra rep, so you're out of here.
That's right. David Montgomery, here, sign a contract. You're the man. Oh, we drafted Jabbar Gibbs.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're a Gibbs person, that is concerning.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because
Yeah.
like, he's just proven to me that he's just not.
You're right, and not to turn it on that, just the fact that, like, I'm okay drafting Najee over him, and I know that's probably a crazy take, but, you know.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm like you with the Gibbs thing. It could work out or it could be a complete bust.
Yeah.
With Najee, you know what you're getting. To me, I think you're getting around a top 10 back every year.
And whenever you see that 25 years old, I mean, I don't want these guys more than another 2 years, you know.
Yeah. If
Two more years, I mean, after his rookie they're going to run the shit out of him.
Exactly. And this is probably more of like if you're trying to win type of a buy. But I'm willing to do it, man. Like I said, I think that it could really pay dividends for you if you're looking for top-end running back production.
And we're saying that, and you don't need to give up that.
No.
You don't need to give up that.
No.
You could give up JSN and easily get him. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yep. Because he just don't get a lot of respect in the Dynasty community.
he
But
doesn't.
I think this year he's going to open some eyes. Like Nick Chubb. I love Nick Chubb. Same thing. He don't get a lot of love. But, I mean, like, there's times where he can win you a game. He breaks a long run, and it's over. You know, so
Right.
I really like Najee Harris's chances this year. I think he's going to finish high. If I can get him from around the prices you're talking about especially,
Yeah.
I'm doing it if I need a running back.
Yep.
We're going to go over here to Ty now. Ty, your post-NFL draft tight end buy, who's it going to be?
Yeah, I have Trey McBride, 23 years old, tight end, 41. Didn't really get much of an opportunity last year until Ertz went down. Then he came in towards the end of the season. He looked pretty solid. He's only 23, and Ertz is coming to the end soon. At the age of 32, I mean, and he's had that devastating injury last year, so that definitely didn't add on the Ertz's shelf life. And really, what intrigues me here is this is more of a project than like an instant starter. Right. I see what Ertz is doing there under Kyler Murray in the Arizona Cardinals, and he's getting right around like 10 receptions a game. Yeah. So that's really. I'm not saying he's going to be like Zach Ertz, because Zach Ertz is a really, really, really good tight end. But just seeing how Kyler Murray likes to throw to the tight end, I really like to see that, especially 10 receptions a game. So hopefully he can make that adjustment and be Kyler's new favorite target once Ertz is gone. High draft capital with the Cardinals, so he should be the guy there for the future. And I think normally in fantasy drafts last year, in the rookie drafts, he was taken late in second round. So I don't really know what the value is right now. I haven't seen too many trades involved with him. I mean, if you can get him for a late second round pick, I think that could be a decent move for you for the future.
Yeah, definitely, especially if you're not in on Musgrave. I know a lot of people like Tucker Kraft over
I
Musgrave.
love Musgrave.
I know you do. I know you do. But
guy.
you know the community.
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, I have too.
You know, a lot of people are in on Tucker
I
Kraft.
think it's Twitter just trying to make, honestly. I mean, I really do.
Trying to make a superstar.
Just throwing shit at the wall and trying to make it stick.
That's for sure. That's for sure. But if you're not a Musgrave person, and the Laporta's already gone, like you're saying, maybe mid to late second, if you could get to McBride, that might be a good move for you. Because I'm like you, I think you're going to have to be a little patient if you acquire him.
Yeah.
But I think it could pan out. You go back to that game against Atlanta last season, 20.8 fantasy points.
Yeah.
And he had a 96% snap share. And that's crazy. And we all know, like, down the stretch, too, with Arizona, they had a lot of injury problems.
Yeah, and they're kind of going into rebuild. You can kind of see, new regime taking over.
Yeah.
I think McBride's pretty safe, and I think Ertz is the one that, is going to be moved out.
I found 3 trades, just one-to-one, and all 3 of them are a third.
A third,
So there you go. That's even, yeah.
Yeah,
If
I would feel real comfortable with that.
Yeah, if I get him for a third, I'd feel really good about it because I really like McBride, man. Last year, he caught my eye a lot, and I just thought, wow, Arizona, because he was behind Ertz, right away. And that's what we're saying about patience. Like, you just got to be patient with this buy. But I love Trey McBride's game. I'm really excited to see more of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the short amount of time that he did, like you said, the Atlanta game, he started to really see the snaps towards the end of the season. And, kind of up and down. But when you're a rookie tight end, that's how it's going to be. I mean, only 23 years old. Who do you think is going to be under center? Do you guys think Kyler? I don't know if he's going to. Do you think he plays at all?
I don't think he plays at all this year.
And if they did somehow, get Caleb Williams, boy, what an upgrade. I mean, not really to Kyler, but like he's not stuck with like a guy we're like, well, we hope he's good.
Who do they have now? Chase McDaniels.
Yeah.
Or Chase...
No, Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy.
But then they also drafted Clayton Tune, who I think could end up taking a little bit, which who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that could be a gamble. But I think they're a rebuild team. I would easily give up a third for him, and I think that he could still maybe not have the greatest year this year, and he can get him even cheaper.
Right.
Like, I love the talent. He's just kind of in that situation where it's like, damn. But what else do they have? I mean, they got Marquise Brown.
Yeah, that's it, man. And
I guess they got Hopkins. Hopkins didn't get moved.
For now, it's tough to say, man. I mean, but that shows you, though, with Hopkins, like, maybe no one even wanted him. That's pretty bad. I mean, all in all, because there was supposedly teams making calls, and, we all knew he was an unhappy
Ravens,
camper.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like he's staying in Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay?
I just hope Arizona continues to try to go, in the right direction here.
And I think if you're a rebuilder, Ty, like, I really like this because getting a third,
yeah,
that's
like
all day.
That could be a great piece to have for down the road whenever you do to start turning the corner. Because, like you said, it's a little bit of a project, but like it's a great project to invest in.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think so.
Yeah, and I like you said that he's a project guy because he is.
Yeah,
yeah, that's a really good take.
Yeah, I mean the Cardinals themselves are a project.
The Cardinals are a project. So
I gotta get me some of that Mountain Dew Frostbite. Ty's been having a lot of good takes today. It must be like stimulating.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan.
Not a big fan.
No.
I liked it. He gave me a can there last week.
Oh, that was something else.
That was Summer Freeze, Andy.
Summer Freeze.
Oh, Summer Freeze.
Summer Freeze was good.
Yeah,
Makes
I
me
like
feel
it.
good.
Makes me feel fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to hop over here to Muss. We're going to finish it out. We're going to round it out. Muss, we're going back to the running back pool one last time. Your post-NFL draft running back buy. Who do you have?
Okay, I got Miles Sanders. He's age 26, so he's a little bit on the older side, but he's a guy that I thought I really don't have many shares of because I always thought he was kind of overvalued. But now that he goes to Carolina, I feel like he's almost undervalued. So now it's like a complete 180. Like everybody's like, oh, Carolina's going to be a dumpster fire, blah, blah, blah. Carolina's actually got it. I was looking it up, and their line was above it. Their line is above average.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like he's going to run behind a terrible line.
Fucking Devonta Foreman ran behind it. I mean, made him look good.
Yeah. And, I mean, behind him, you got Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's really got not a lot of competition. They drafted Young, so, I mean, he's going to check down a lot.
Yeah.
Rookie quarterback, safety blanket, probably tight end and running back.
Right.
So, I mean, I think I don't know what he did in Philly to, like, piss somebody up. Because it was different coaching staffs. Because, I mean, it's not like it was just one coaching staff that would take him out and put the, Gainwell or whoever in. But, like, different coaching staffs kept taking him out and everything. But
I think like a lot of his problem with Philly went back to the Super Bowl. Like I think they didn't really get their running game going like they wanted to.
Right.
I think they were looking to upgrade maybe, like try to get over the hump, like hence the Swift move.
Yeah.
Like if he stays healthy, I think they're thinking like, boy, this could really give us a push.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
But
And two veteran running backs, you know how it is. People don't like to pay them.
yeah,
You
but
know?
I mean, and like as far as like, I don't know why they didn't like run him more. Like they just would always take him out, put Boston Scott in,
Right, like a
kinda-
rotation.
That's just their game plan.
Yeah. And then he's always finished like roughly around the running back too. And I think I don't see him really descending from that right away. I mean, I think you're going to get a couple more years of running back too, even in Carolina.
Yeah.
And right now he's ADP running back 24.
Yeah,
You're-
that's late.
So you're getting him right at.
This is a good volume buy.
Yeah.
Like going back to, like I said, what I said earlier about Okonkwo, like you're looking for that stuff in these later rounds, or like if you're going to give up something, you get someone that should be seeing a lot of targets and a lot of carries coming their way.
Right.
And Miles Sanders definitely, because like you said, all they got's Chuba.
Yeah.
See, and I've expressed my concerns before. Is Carolina so bad to where Chuba's a pass catcher and he doesn't? But I think Miles Sanders can catch the ball.
Yeah, he showed it at
He
Penn
can,
State.
yeah.
Yeah, I think he can. They just didn't utilize him that
Right.
way. So, like, that might have been a bad take by me. I really like the Miles Sanders buy. I mean, hell, he had 1,200 yards last year, and he's going to a situation where the line's really good too. So.
Yeah, in the trade browser, it looks like he's going for a second all day. So,
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
So I mean, for a running back too,
Yeah.
Yeah, especially as a contender, you're sitting there at 2.9, 2.10, 2.11.
Yeah.
I mean, anything like that, I mean, that would be great. That'd be just adding another great piece to your cupboard, you know?
I remember drafting him, 2019, I believe it was that class, and he had big shoes to fill. I mean, Saquon just came out of Penn State, like,
yeah,
and everybody's like, oh, he's really, really good. And Miles Sanders is a really good player. He's not Saquon Barkley.
Right.
So sometimes I think that's the problem, the comparisons that we see.
Never got out of that shadow.
Yeah, he just never really got out of the shadow. Yeah, I'd easily give up a second. I'd probably give up a late first for him.
yeah, I would.
Yeah, it's
know,
going back to what we said about James Cook. I mean, like, if you need a running back,
Yeah.
and you're not like, and let's be honest, I love Kendra Miller, but like, will he be playing a lot this season? Because they do have some other people
Right.
in tow. But like, if you're not comfortable with them, like I know we like them, but if you're not comfortable with them, Miles Sanders, James Cook, them are all options that could help you win.
And another thing, I don't mean to cut you off. Hopefully,
No,
I
you're
didn't
good. You're
overdo
good.
this, but like, we know they want to run the ball there.
Yeah.
They got a young quarterback.
Yep.
They came out and said it's an open competition. Who's going to start? Is it Andy Dalton or Young? Obviously, Young's going to get the reins at some point. So they're going to want to take pressure off of him. They're going to want to establish the run, short check downs, and I mean, they probably even have a chance to win the division.
Yeah, it's wide open.
I mean, Atlanta's not that good.
And they added a bunch of, Thielen.
Yeah.
Getting older, but I mean,
Yeah.
Carolina did add a bunch of
And-
people to try to compete.
Exactly.
It's not like they're completely throwing their hands up and
Yeah.
Waving the white flag.
yeah,
And if they thought that they were in complete rebuild, why would they give Miles Sanders the money they gave him?
yeah, exactly.
So they trust him.
yeah.
One last question to ask you, you think he finishes running back too?
Oh yeah, all day.
All day?
I would
If
actually,
he's healthy?
I would actually think he probably almost flirts with that. Like I want to say like 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could easily see it.
I could see him flirting between 12 and 14 if he stays healthy.
He was
If he
running
stays
back
healthy.
15 last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's playing behind a good line.
Yeah.
So, well, this is going to do it for our post NFL draft running back and tight end buys. A lot of fun going over these guys. I mean, doing the work on them, doing your homework, just trying to see who's good options. Always remember, guys, when you're hunting buys like this, guys that like low key that you can get with a lot of volume, like a lot of ones we mentioned.
Yeah.
And some of the running backs, real quick, just other ones we talked about: Cam Akers, Alexander Madison.
Yeah.
Them are all options too. That
I almost still like Tyler Algier.
Tyler Algier,
Like,
yeah,
I think he's a great handcuff.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's going to be one of the top handcuffs.
Yep.
So I mean, I think his price only got cheaper, and I honestly I don't mind. I don't have any trades pulled up or anything, but hell, if you can get him cheaper, he's probably one of the top handcuffs.
yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
And he's one injury away from he had 1,000 yards last year.
And he's that kind of guy. It could be like a Donato Foreman. He could go to another team and go to another team and go to another team. And
And another thing I seen on Twitter, I wish I could check some of this out before I just blurt Twitter stuff, but like he was a top 10 guy in most broken tackles or forced missed tackles last year.
tough runner.
So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And them are guys like we were saying, them are all guys that, hey, maybe if you can get them for the right price, look into it because I think they all could be valuable.
Yep.
But next week, we're going to be doing our 2023 rookie hyper flight episode. We're going to be talking about guys where we in or we out, basically.
Yeah.
And that pretty much is their ADP. We might even like the player, but we're just like, hey, that's a little bit high.
It's like is Ty buying the flight or buying the hype and is Musk taking the flight?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah, pushing them under the bus yet again. But it'll be really interesting to see how everyone feels about these rookies one last time. Are we in or we out going into startups, rookie drafts, how we feel about them, their whole situation. We really digested this now. And then we know in June, July, we're getting close to them startup times.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot of good stuff coming. We were talking about show ideas. We'll keep you all posted on that. A couple things to mention. DynastyDNA.net, guys. I'm going to tell you again, Andy's writing another article right now. I think the losers of the draft. I think that's what you're writing right now. So there's a lot of good stuff over there. I mean, multiple writers. Candid Fantasy Football, Aiden Grover, Mike Kashuba, Preston Evans, all good guys, all really good fantasy minds, and they always write good stuff. I love to see what they come out with.
Yep.
Because it's like, I love picking their brains, you know?
Yeah.
So, guys, check that out. Podcast episodes are all over there. YouTube videos. You won't be disappointed. It's a treasure trove of fantasy information. We're also going to mention Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at DynastyDNA_. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe, follow, comment. Again, guys, a lot of trades going down and stuff like that right now. Draft questions, anything you got, send them over on Twitter. We get them daily.
Yep.
We're happy to answer, try to help you out any way we can. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dynasty DNA, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right,
See ya.
Yeah.